Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My brother has always been the baby of the family and was indulged in every way imaginable by my parents. I can't deny that we were both spoiled, but I was never outright indulged the way he was. As such, he's become an extreme manipulator, liar, and all-around antisocial person. Things in my family were tolerable until my dad passed away, and then it was almost my mom and brother are one meltdown shy of Mama and Norman Bates. As an example of things they have done are, my mom forged letters of recommendation to get him into graduate school. My mom has paid for his car insurance since he graduated college, 20 plus years now. My brother has an extremely hard time meeting women, and when he does, maintaining relationships with them. When they break up, my mom has called these girls up to hundreds of times, each, to try to get them back together. My mom showed up in court to try to talk my brother out of a speeding ticket, and then was held in contempt when she wouldn't shut up about how the cop was just railroading my brother. My brother has never had anything to do with my kids, thank God. But each year, she sends the kids heartfelt letters and presents in her handwriting, as though they were from my brother. Like I said, this list could go on forever, and every bullet item would be equally as pathetic. However, my mom is now very much facing her mortality, and I think it's hitting her that when she's gone, my brother will have very few skills to attack life on his own, and it's scaring the crap out of her. Last week, my mom said that she needed me to continue to look out for and take care of my brother when she passes away. I asked her what this entails. She said that she needs me to continue to do what she's done, which she insists is just help. I asked if this meant to pay his car insurance, call his ex-girlfriends, or talk him down if someone gives him mean glances at him on the bus. Another instance of pure crazy. My mom said, he would do it for you. I said that in over 20 years of living away from home, my brother has never reached out to me once, so I don't believe that he would do any of that for me. She said that he doesn't reach out because he's scared of you. I said, well, that's a great reason why we should probably continue to live our separate lives. My mom then said very directly, if you can't or won't take over for me when I pass, then I'll have to leave my entire estate to him. I asked her if she was serious. She said yes. I have no doubts that she's serious. I could never, ever be involved with my brother, on my mother's terms or otherwise, because, very basically, he's an antisocial creep who scares my wife, and a person whom I'm afraid to have my kids around. So the question is simply this. Do I be honest with my mom and kiss away anywhere between $200,000 and $400,000? Her estate is probably worth $1 million total in property and investments. How much is left depends a great deal on how much care she needs as she continues to age. Or do I lie to her and say I will, and then after she's gone and everything is settled, I truly go no contact with my brother? There are many ways to interpret taking care of OP's brother. I recommend that OP honestly say that she is going to take care of her brother, and when her mother passes, she takes care of him by making him grow up. That is truly the best thing OP can do for him. Forcing him to be a mature adult is helping him. So, my husband's two sisters were very spoiled during their pregnancies. My in-laws brought them all big-ticket baby items such as bedroom sets, crib, dresser, changing table, etc., and also a stroller for each child. They opened up education savings accounts for each child and put a sizable amount of money into each child's account. Each child got $5,000 at birth and $200 at each birthday. Each pregnancy, the girls have gotten additional big-ticket items, including new bedroom sets and stroller for each child. They got regular strollers when the first was born, and double strollers when they had their seconds. At the beginning of our pregnancy, my in-laws said that they wanted to buy us a bedroom set for the baby, like they did for the last 4 grandchildren. We accepted, and they told us to pick one out. We did. The baby is now due in 2 weeks, and there was also a waiting period to bring it in. We kept asking when they might buy it, and told them when the date it should have been ordered was, but they never ordered it. After we told them we went ahead and ordered one, Mother-in-law told us that she wanted to get us a stroller. Eventually, my husband asked what the status on the stroller was, and they didn't respond at all. So we bought one that was on sale and then let them know. Then they said they wanted to get us a playpen. We, reluctantly this time, said sure. We told them we would need it fairly soon, because the baby would be sleeping in our room in a playpen for a little while. They had us pick one out and said they would go get one next weekend, which was 4 weekends ago now. Mother-in-law texts me today, saying she has an old playpen that the other grandkids used while at her place, and we could essentially borrow it for a while and then return it to them once our baby is transitioned into her crib. It doesn't have a bassinet or anything. It's an older, stinky playpen that is even torn in a couple of places. Not to mention, we do need one to keep, as we want the baby to use it for a couple of years at least. My husband is really upset. It was one of the granddaughter's birthdays 3 weeks ago, and the grandparents bought them a whole playground for their backyard, and even assembled it for them over a few weekends. It has slides and swings, and they even had a truck drop off special pea gravel for the ground underneath. Their financial situation hasn't changed at all, and our financial situation is no different than my sister-in-law. They told us last week that they weren't going to open any more educational savings accounts for any other grandchildren. Which, alright, but what the duck? They gave my sister-in-law another deposit of $200 at the birthday party along with the playset. They opened it with the other gifts. It's not like dear husband has been a bad son ever. There's never been any sort of conflicts with them. They just decided his kids weren't worth it. My husband regularly goes over to their house and does work on their house for them and helps them landscape. My husband feels really let down. On top of it all, it's my birthday today, and we invited them to my birthday dinner. They said last weekend that tonight we were going to get the new playpen for the baby. But today's text was her saying she was giving us the old stinky 10-year-old playpen without a bassinet that we don't really want or have use for. I've told my husband to tell them no thank you. But now things are really awkward, and I don't want to really talk about it at all during dinner. But I know it will come up. I don't want to sound greedy or entitled, but why are my husband's kids not worth it? I think that playset was at least a few $1,000s. I feel so sad for him. We are picking up a playpen on the way to my dinner party tonight, so we don't have to think about any of it anymore. OP's husband needs to start enforcing consequences on his parents for their behavior, instead of groveling and wallowing. They don't get to disrespect his kids with overt favoritism, nor do they get to yank him and his wife on a chain as they have been doing with the false promises. So they should stop taking their calls, should not let them see their kids, should not send them gifts or cards or invitations. This is called putting them on a timeout. I think OP needs to accept the fact that her children will never be treated equally. She is only the daughter-in-law, and that makes her and her children less deserving in their eyes. It's completely ducked up, but it will never change. OP and her husband should not let the in-laws in their child's life. They only bring pain and heartache. My father, to put it lightly, was a crap bag. He spiked my mother's drink when they were in high school, AR'd her, and then claimed it was consensual when she fought back. Nobody believed my mom, and he wasn't a bad kid, so they took his side. She planned to abort me, but he told her ultra-religious parents, and they immediately refused, and he said he wanted the kid. So she has the kid, me, and 3 years later, he nopes out. Now, we get the occasional child support, but he rarely pays. Fast forward 13 years. I'm 16 now, and through pictures I've seen of him, I'm his literal spitting image. I look just like he did. After I grew out of the tiny wrinkled radish phase, I grew pretty much identical to him, and that's when I noticed differences in how my mom treated me. After me, my mom remarried, and when I was 6, a stepmom and her 2 daughters, 5 female and 8 female, came into my life. My mom doted on them and spoiled them insanely. They both got their own bedroom, and I had to sleep on the couch as a kid. We lived in a 3-bedroom, and my parents said my stepsisters can't sleep together because one snores, and a boy shouldn't sleep with someone he's not blood related to. My parents went to all their dance rehearsals and track meets and soccer practices, while I had to pretty much beg them to show up at my middle school graduation. I think I was about 9 when I found out my mom literally hates me. My stepsisters would hug and kiss her, and she'd push me off if I tried to do the same. There was always girl time and girls' day, when my moms and sisters would go out to the spa or shopping or to lunch, and I'd be dropped off at my grandpa's for guy time. Sure, a 70-year-old Christian evangelical psycho. What a blast. I didn't even know why until I found out I was the product of R. And to put insult to injury, I also looked exactly like the perpetrator. I'm so humiliated to look like such a sick individual, and I know it's hard for my mom to see my face over and over every day, but I always feel so left out of everything. My sisters and I don't get along. My stepmom is kind to me, but she doesn't argue when I'm not invited along, and my mom is straight up iceberg. It got to the point where I feel like I'm walking on flaming hot Cheetos around her. She ignores me. When a family friend asks about me, she answers in a clipped one sentence, and then brings up my stepsisters. If I complain that my stepsisters broke my controller, I'll get told things happen, and I should be more forgiving. But God forbid if I drop her mirror and suddenly I'm grounded. My stepsister's stuff are precious and cared for, but I come home one day to find my mom gave my Switch to one of her friend's kids for his birthday. Dinner time is the absolute worst. My mom and stepmom are big on sit-down dinners, but I'm barely talked to when we do. They pretty much forget I'm there, but I'm expected to sit the whole time. How do I make my mom love me again? How do I get her to look past my appearance and love me as her son? Buddy, I'm so sorry. Please know that none of this is your fault. Repeat it to yourself. It's not your fault. This is important because since it's not your fault, there is nothing you can do to change it. Your mom needs help. She needs intense therapy to deal with what happened to her and to deal with how she's taken it out on you, but you can't force her to go. I suggest you get yourself together, get a job after school and in the summertime, and start putting away as much money as you can. If you're academically inclined, work your butt off to get some scholarships because she's not going to help you. If you're not academically inclined, start thinking about a trade you might like to learn and work towards that. Get all of your legal documents together and put in a safe place. Birth certificate, social security card, etc. Look into emancipation laws in your state. If emancipation isn't an option, then just plan to bug out as soon as you turn 18. You can always leave the proverbial door open to your mother if she'd like to maintain a relationship with you. But for now, work on building a network of good friends and getting yourself out of there ASAP. Good luck. Hi, it's me again. I feel crappy. Might as well start from the beginning. I haven't been very happy for the past few days, and being in quarantine is physically destroying me. School's off, I'm not allowed to leave the house, and I'm being ignored. It's infuriating. My sisters keep coming into my room and taking some of my snacks. I dropped by the convenience store beforehand. Better to snack in my room than eat at the table with a family that doesn't want you there. I complained to my stepmom about it, and she said I'm their brother. I should share. I told them to stop. They told me to leave them alone. I'm just so tired of being at home. So I did what a few people who commented told me to. They said I should talk to her, maybe with my stepmom present, or write a letter. If I write a letter, she'll probably rip it up or just not read it. I have to do something where she has no choice but to pay attention to me. So I did. When my sisters went out for a walk, I asked if I could talk to my mom. My stepmom was in the living room, and she sat down next to my mom and wrapped a hand over her. I'd rather she not be there, but there was no getting rid of her. I told her I understood I looked like my dad, and I was so angry for looking like him. At the mention of my dad, my mom kind of shriveled up and her face twisted. Maybe I should have stopped, but I kept going and said it wasn't my fault the genes went that way, that I love her, that I wished she loved me. That can she please stop treating me like a friend who's stuck around too long? That I want to be part of the family and I hate being left out of stuff. I just poured my emotions out and went on and on about how I need my mother. My stepmom and her both tried to interrupt several times, but I asked them to wait until I was finished. When I did, my mom told me I was crazy. None of this was true. I was just spoiled and jealous of my sisters. She said I was a teenage boy, and all teenage boys distance themselves from their moms. She never did anything. This was on me. She yelled at me for bringing up my dad. My stepmom said I was wrong. I just felt left out because I'm a guy and they're all girls, and I just don't understand how girls do things. I left the conversation. I just walked out the door and went out. It's been about an hour and a half, and I'm kind of just walking in circles. I don't know where I'm going.